tonight. Welcome to another episode of the Joe and Doug Show. We have guests. We have our wives here, so this is about to be the best show we've ever done.
I've been here before, second to best.
You have. But yeah, you're gonna have to lean a little closer to that mic there, so everybody can hear.
Second to best show. We've been here before.
Oh, so the first one was the time you were here. I like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna chat about a whole bunch of stuff that has to do with our wives. But if you don't know, this is my wife, Sam, and
this is Miss Debbie.
And both Sam and Debbie are super ecstatic. They fight us to be on the show. They genuinely, they can't get enough of podcasting, and they're just so excited to be here. We're going to jump in, and we're going to talk about what it's like to live with us. And I thought this would be a fun topic, simply because I know,
Joe? Yeah, right? Yeah.
I know that Joe and I are constantly experimenting, trying things. We have a little bit of that adventurous kind of
we're kind of boring. We kind of just
we do the same thing every day. And obviously leading a church and leading a business, those things are different, but there are similarities and crossovers. And we have certain skill sets that are the same, and I'm sure certain quirks that drive you guys nuts. And so I kind of want to get into that a little bit, because everybody's life is a little different. You have to pick your boundaries. You have to pick your borders. So what is it like being a pastor's wife, and what is it like being married to a CEO / entrepreneur /
all the things.
Experimenter, inventor, investor, etc.
That's a big business card right there.
Yeah. You just need what was the one Zuckerberg had? I'm CEO, a word I won't say. So, what answer that?
You can't answer that in one statement. That's, I don't know. It's exciting, to say the least. It's always changing. It's great. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. So
yeah. What do you love about it?
What do I love about it is I'm the complete opposite. So I am fine with boring. I'm fine with doing my same routine every day. I would eat the same thing every day if it was up to me. And so I don't love change. So you bring the change, but it's also, I know you, and I know that you care about me and love me. So I'm never it's not exactly scary. As much as the change is scary, I know it can be that scary because you're there. So it's okay. That's all right.
And how do you feel about being married to Joe?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment. I never know exactly what we're going to be getting into or what's going to happen.
Right.
It's fun. It's adventurous. Sometimes it's can catch you off guard when you come home and your front porch is just gone with no prior discussion.
Yeah.
I remember that day.
Yeah. Vividly.
Was it cold outside? That's my question.
But, I learned to just kind of go with it, and, things always work out, and it's always fine. And you just have to be supportive, and that's what I am.
Well said.
What for both of you, what do you find to be perhaps the greatest point of tension? Because certain things can be very demanding. There are times where your time is very on demand, and same with me. A funeral comes up, certain things are just got to do it.
Right.
What's those points of tension for you and for Debbie? What do you wrestle with? What do you wish were different?
Some of those things, for me, marrying you, knowing you're going to be pastor, it's just a given. That, the funeral, certain things like that. I know nothing I can do. These things are going to happen. And you've been called away on holidays, all the things, if people are dying or whatever, certain emergencies. So that's just kind of a given. I know that's going to happen. I'd say the biggest tension is for you and me is communication. Is you have all these ideas and you do all these things, and you come home and the front porch is gone. I'm oh, were we gonna do that now? Oh,
I was I talked to you about it, didn't I?
Awesome, great. Nope, that.
Wait, I've heard this conversation.
Yeah, in your head, not out loud. So yeah, I need to know and plan and be prepared, and sometimes it doesn't happen like that. So
I would have to say the same thing. I tell him all the time, I don't want to, we live a very public life, and I don't like finding things out on Facebook. Like, I don't want to find out on Facebook that you ate Chipotle for lunch. Like, I should already know you had Chipotle for lunch.
Yeah.
That's why I communicate with you.
Yeah.
Read Facebook. I tagged you. Chipotle, Deb.
But that's our biggest joke, running joke. Like, I don't want to find out on Facebook, you know. And it's hard because he's always going so fast, and things are always just happening at the spur of the moment. And, you know, so sometimes it is after the fact that I find out, you know.
Yeah.
Like the front porch.
It's just going to be the example throughout the whole show. The front porch.
How did that become synonymous?
This will just
with
be the
Joe?
front porch episode.
Yeah, I've done a lot of other stupid things. Can we key in on one of those other ones?
Apparently that one left a really big mark.
So let's flip this a minute. So obviously, you know, there are assets that our spouses bring to the table that make us better in our given professions, as husbands, as dads. So Joe, what are some of the things that you and Debbie over the years you've just grown to appreciate? Like, this allows me to step into this role so much more. I feel free to be CEO, or I feel free to take on this risk. What are some of those things for you guys that have really been good?
Yeah, and that's when relationships are like cliched into being foundational. Like, I experienced that. I would not have the sort of the fortitude to do any of the stuff without knowing that no matter what happens, win or lose or whatever, that if I run about happiness, if it's in a box or in a house or wherever, and that gives me some freedoms, not the pressures of always succeeding or whatever, and it makes better outcomes because of it.
Yeah, I would say, I think for me with Sam, the dynamic in not just raising kids, but like, you know, having four, she sometimes on Sundays is a single mom, and I never have to worry about that part. She just like gets up, does it. Kids are there on time. I'm like, I feel free to be in my zone, and she understands, hey, when you come here, don't, you know, she tells kids, you know, go say hi to daddy, but don't bother him. He's working. And, you know, and some of that's tough because for us, and I'm sure it happens for you guys too, our personal and our public life and all of that kind of intersect. You know, everything's on Facebook and social media and Instagram and wherever else. And I know one of the things that drives Sam nuts being in the public eye to a certain extent is people will genuinely come up to us. We have no idea who they are. This happened to me when I got back from Florida. I was at the grocery store the night we landed on the plane. Sam's like, we need cereal and milk. The kids need to eat breakfast tomorrow. So I go to Giant Eagle, and this woman sees me and says, Pastor Doug. And I was like, hello, you know, I'm in sweats. I haven't, you know, I haven't showered. I was traveling all day. And I'm like, how are you? And she goes, I just want you to know, we heard you had COVID. We're praying for you. I'm like, why do you know I had COVID? You know, like I'm in my head and stuff. And she explained, you know, how she knew, but I'm like, I don't even know who you are. And that's one thing I know for you.
Yeah, I hate that.
Drives you nuts.
I hate that. I mean, like, that is, and it's such a small, like, we're in the public eye, we're on Facebook, but it's such a small group of people. Like, I can't even imagine what, not that I'm calling myself a celebrity, but like actual celebrities go through to have complete strangers, like, to know all this information about them and stuff. I'd lose my mind. I couldn't handle that. No. The worst for me is when people think they know our children because we talk about them a lot and stuff, and they'll come up and be like, hi, and I'm like, they don't know you. Hey, Steve, stay over there. So,
Mama bear.
Yeah, literally. Like, you can talk to me all you want, but it'll leave them alone. So, yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys navigate that? You mentioned the public eye, and you know, how do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, we both get it because I'm a teacher.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so a lot of kids know me, but I don't know them because I may not have had them in class, but they just know me from being a teacher. So we get that all the time.
Yeah.
This is Danier. And then people will come up to him and they'll be like, are you Joe Danier? I recognize the voice. Just by the voice. We'll just be talking in public and someone will hear his voice and come up and.
Yeah, but I don't know people for shit, no names whatsoever, so I have nothing to remember or forget, right?
Yeah.
I don't know any of you.
Because they just know your voice.
That's right.
Yeah, because you were on Dan Rivers this week.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was interesting. That, you know, hitting the line between going too far this way and too that's a skill.
Yeah. So what parts of your life, if you looked back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you were dating, engaged in that sort of season, could you have not pictured in this season? What sort of stuff do you look at now and be like, wow, I never pictured this, good or bad?
Living in Ohio. We're in New Jersey, born and raised. Never in a million years thought we'd ever leave the state.
Thank God we did.
Yeah. Everyone we know in New Jersey is like, I can't wait to leave. And
Taxes.
we already left.
Now it's practically communist. So.
They're still like crazy closed down. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest one that stands out. But even we'd always talked about having 4 kids. And then when we actually had 4 kids, I was like, wow, I can't believe we actually did that.
I can't believe you did that. I just cheered along.
It's true. I did do that. I did all the work.
I can't even, program the TV and on the side going, go ahead.
No. I don't know. I mean, I always knew we'd be at church. I didn't think that we would come into such a established church because we'd always wanted to plant. We'd always talk about starting our own church. So, but yeah, I mean, everything else. I mean, I knew I would be with you. I mean, we've known each other for so long. So
When did you know you'd be with me? How long ago? What age were you like, I'm going to marry him?
Well, we were 14 and 16.
When we started dating,
You proposed when I was, 20?
We got married 21, 24.
I was 20 when you proposed, and then I turned 20. Well, no, it was my 21st birthday, because it was 9 months later. So I'd say, I don't know, 17, maybe 18. I was like, I could do this forever. So,
do you have any regrets?
No.
She's not gonna tell you here. No.
Stop your nonsense.
Put her on the spot on the podcast. Hey.
Stop your nonsense. That's not.
Good setup though.
And then
try.
for you guys, Debbie, is there stuff that you look at your life now? Are you things that you're like, man, I can't believe, good, bad, or otherwise?
Well, I mean, I still do it every day. I'm always just so thankful and grateful. Like every time I pull onto my driveway, I always think like, man, I can't believe I live in this house.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful and grateful for it still to this day. But, Joe is Joe. I'm married to Joe, and Joe has had a vision and has foreseen all of this long before it came to fruition.
Yeah, so when it comes to fruition and she's like, oh, I can't believe it. I'm like, I've been playing this since I was 10.
Exactly. So, I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like,
well, we play this game.
You knew.
We play this game where we, when something happens, we're like, all right, go revisit the teenage version of yourself and tell them about this moment right now. What's their reaction, right? And then hers is different than my reaction. Mine would be obviously, yeah, I know that's going to happen. And hers would be like, yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
I believe you.
That's so funny. Are there, talk about the next 10 years. Obviously, this year has been special for you guys because you got Gus the bus. You've made some family decisions that have really been beneficial for you guys. Talk about the next 10 years with a little bit of foresight outside maybe the business realm. Do you guys have some personal goals, some goals together? Obviously, you have some travel goals, I know. What are we doing?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really look far out. That's your job. I mean, we do have some travel goals with Gus because we have stickers to fill in on our map.
I've seen the map.
I love that map. That's great.
Deb wants to write $1 million check to her church. That's one thing that she said on the horizon here. Yeah. And we feel like we got to make up some pretty big ground on what we give back. You always feel like you were given way more than you gave, and so we're not out of guilt or anything like that. But I just feel like we got some stuff to make up on. So we're gonna try to change some lives and change some worlds.
That's awesome.
That's cool. What do you think?
So, what
do you want to see over the next 10 years?
I'm so not good at this. I can barely picture what my family room's going to look like right now. You're asking me to picture the next Doug. 10 years? Yeah. Our house is still under construction, and it's
it's coming along.
It's coming along. We now have drywall over the hideous dining room wallpaper, and I'm like, I see it now. Like, I can see it.
The whole time I'm like, I saw it the day we walked in here with the realtor.
It's the same conversations. Like, he's like, I knew it was going to look like this. And I'm like, I had no idea. It's beautiful. I'm like crying at drywall. I'm like, it's so beautiful. But I mean, in our lives, I don't know. It's for me, it's not necessarily that I'm like, I can't picture it. Like, I have things that I can picture, but at the end of the day, like, I know that we are going to go wherever the Lord takes us. Yeah. And so I'm like, it's not 100% up to me. Like, this is what I kind of want and kind of could see doing. But at the end of the day, if the Lord tells us to go to Kentucky, please don't tell us to do that. Though.
Why? Don't
way to put that out there.
Stop.
Stop.
Goodness gracious.
What a good idea. That was God's voice.
That sounds different than I imagined. I was about to say that. It sounds different than I feel like I've heard before. At the end of the day, if he tells us to go somewhere, like that's what we're going to do.
That's how we ended up in Ohio.
That's what we're going to do. So
Yeah.
it's hard for me to picture because I don't want to get too attached to something that I know could or could.
See,
like,
I'm
might
never
not.
attached to an idea. Are you ever married to an idea? Right.
Never.
So
It's because I don't have as many ideas as you. So when I get one, I'm like, this is awesome. Where you have an idea every 5 seconds, and you can just throw it away like it's nothing.
The running joke in the office right now between Pastor Mike and I is I'll walk in and be like, I have an idea. I'm not married, to it.
That's his new
or
line.
this morning I came in and I was like, look, we've been talking about this for 2 months. I have an idea and I'm married to this one. So I need to talk to you about how this is going to play out.
And that helps.
And that helps him a ton because he's not in our boat with that sort of stuff. So, but for Sam, I know that she's in wherever we go, but it's a wrestle sometimes because I'm like, I feel like I have to leave the breadcrumbs along the way to help her get to sometimes where I'm at. And not that it's necessarily a better place. It's just my skill set versus her skill set. Because gosh, we wouldn't have anything at home in order, a calendar, any of that sort of stuff.
If I were to
wasn't for
leave
Sam.
tomorrow, Doug would not know how to pay our bills or have any usernames or passwords for any of our accounts for anything in life. And I'm going to charge of all that.
She tells me all the time. She's like, what would you do if I died? Like, you don't know where any of this
What would
stuff
you
is.
do?
I was like, I would remarry very quickly because I'd be in trouble.
Either remarry or hire
I'd have to
someone.
have my mom move in, or I'd have to hire
literally.
a PA because I don't know any of my
No
passwords. I don't know.
details.
Literally, I'm like, you could steal my life and I wouldn't know how to get it back.
Now, Doug, does it take a little bit of the thrill away knowing that no matter what you say, it's going to be like, okay. So you can't like shock her? Like,
Oh, no, I'll combat. I will totally.
Oh, really?
If he comes at me with
okay.
something, I'll be like, no, bad, no, stupid.
She did that with
Move
Ohio.
next one.
You did that with Ohio.
Ohio, 100%.
When
I told him, I said, if you apply to that church in Ohio,
God's going to send us to Ohio.
we are moving to Ohio, and I do not want to move to Ohio.
Yeah,
that was
she
the
was-
first line about it. He told me about
Oh, yeah.
everything, and I just, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, she was like, our whole lives are here. Why would you want to do that? And then I think by the second night, she was giving in a little bit. She was like, do they at least have a Target and a Chick-fil-A? That was her big concern.
That's what I needed.
So
That's what I
priorities.
needed.
It was what was
Because
important.
we didn't have a Chick-fil-A, and
Yeah, it was an upgrade.
It was an upgrade.
Definitely an upgrade.
And now
2
we got
Chick-fil-A's.
2 Chick-fil-A's and a really close
That's
Target.
Jesus chicken right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, right.
So Christmas is coming up. Joe and I talked a little bit in our podcast about family traditions and fun things that we love about the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc. What are some of your ladies' favorite family traditions that you did growing up, and maybe some that you've started with your family or have incorporated? Maybe favorite foods, that sort of stuff. This is kind of light and fun.
I was just talking about this with someone today. So we grew up very differently in terms of Christmas morning. So let's hear your guys' take. I think we might have talked about this before. I grew up Christmas morning. You know, we got our picture on the steps, and we're all excited. And every year we had to wait for my
Matching
dad.
PJs, right?
No matching PJs. But my dad would wake up and he have to go downstairs and get a coffee. And every year he'd say, "Oh, there's no presents down here. Santa didn't come."
same joke every year.
Every single year. We grew up very hardcore Santa in our family. Santa didn't come, you got no presents. We'd be like, oh my gosh, no, with our presents, Dad, stop. And he'd take 6 years to get his coffee. And when Dad was ready, then we can all come running down the steps. And once we came running down the steps, everything was fair game.
Ding, ding.
It was chaos.
A free-for-all.
And so everyone had their presents, and your stocking was laying on your presents, and everyone had different wrapping paper. So once you saw where your stocking was, that was your stuff. And we just opened. You just went for it, and in the midst of paper flying, it was, Mom, look at this, Dad, look at this. This is so
I've
cool.
seen
It's
videos.
so cool.
It's nuts.
It's like Hunger Games.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was fun, and everybody could open at their own pace, and and once it was like, we have like videos of it, so we could get our reactions and stuff. But his family, okay, Doug, here's your gift.
Methodical.
You open.
Scalpel.
Concrete
nice.
sequential, yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
Once the
let's
trash
just
is
open.
picked up, you can go on to the next one. We had the bag and everything.
So I just want the.
Everything was in a nice, neat pile. And then Christmas night, you took your stuff and you put it away. It was all away. You didn't have a mess down
No,
there.
I love the mass chaos of Christmas morning.
Well, we don't do mass chaos Christmas.
We go back and forth now. Every other year, we get chaos and then
a little bit of chaos.
calm, and then chaos and then
I
calm.
can't do full chaos.
It's ridiculous. But no, other than that,
You make Christmas casserole.
we make Christmas casserole. So every year for Christmas, my mom makes this breakfast casserole. And it's so funny because recently,
You can make it
within the
any time
last
of
couple of years,
but
yeah,
we
she
only
told
ever
me.
make it on
Special.
Christmas.
She was
Yeah.
like,
Special
I literally could have made this at any point in our lives, but I only ever made it for Christmas. And so it's been deemed Christmas casserole. And so we have this breakfast casserole every morning for Christmas. But it's like eggs, bread, breakfast meat, cheese, milk. It's all the wonderful things in life.
But you can't have this
That we're not having right now. It'll be fine. Kids will eat it and it'll be great.
It's Christmas. Jesus was born. We can eat whatever we
We can
want.
eat whatever we want. But other than that, traditions, I mean, we always go to church Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
We would do family gifts Christmas Eve and then like Santa gifts and everything Christmas morning.
Yeah, my family, once we got older, we'd stay up till midnight and just open our gifts and then go to bed. So that we'd like,
So then you could
once we
sleep
were like
in
in
on
high school and
Christmas.
stuff, and like we were like, we know there's no Santa, so like, can we just stay up and open our gifts? Because I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. to open these gifts. So, what kind of traditions do you guys do, and what do you have going on?
Well, growing up, we always did Christmas Eve for my mom's side of the family. It was huge, Kim Christmas. And then we took it over, and so we host it every year, and this will be the first year that we're not hosting, and I'm very sad about it, but we're not doing it this year. And
Joe she's like, I'm very sad about it. And
Fist
Joe's
pumping
like,
behind her back, like, yeah.
I am very sad about it. I put off canceling it. He kept like, he knew like months before we weren't doing it. I kept saying, well, maybe we'll still be able to do it.
No, it's COVID. We got to cancel.
we're
It's state
probably still-
mandate.
I'm
Is
not
it because of COVID?
Yeah, he just doesn't. Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people who we knew wouldn't come because of it.
CDC instructions.
We'll come over Christmas Eve. It'll be fine.
you guys are gonna be in Gus,
Joe's
right?
never been into a huge group of people in his house, but it's fun and we love
If
it.
it weren't for all the people, it'd be great.
But you love the people.
I do. I
It's just
do.
a lot of people at one time, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And
This is
so-
going swimmingly.
our tradition,
We're gonna pray for Joe right now.
our tradition
Bow your heads with me.
growing up was after we came home from Kim Christmas, Santa had already arrived. So we would always open presents on Christmas Eve
Oh, wow.
and then go to bed. And then we could wake up in the morning and play. And my parents would sleep in because the gifts had already been opened.
And
That's
never once did they question the logistics of why in the neighborhood the other kids had to wait till morning, but Santa Claus,
so
Every
funny.
he
Christmas
like
Eve,
hit
every
me.
Hey, he liked them.
Yeah, that's true. But
Yeah. Every
think about
Christmas
how
Eve.
his schedule would have been jacked up if he'd have come there and had to
Yeah.
come back later.
So this year's gonna be
That's true.
different.
It is.
And you guys are headed out and Gus the bus for this. So where are you headed?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, you don't care.
So
We have
we're,
no
Somewhere
idea.
not
we're
cold.
bouncing around. We keep making plans, and then that state gets dangerous to go to, and we got to stay
yeah.
away from it because I don't want to do a 14-day quarantine. So we're doing Florida for sure. We're doing East Coast all the way for sure, but I don't really sure. It's kind
We
of
were just in
fluid.
Florida.
Fluid.
Everything's open in Florida. So
Yeah.
you're good there.
We were in Sarasota and
Fort
then Fort
Myers.
Myers, and it was nice. It was, I mean, certain places people wore masks, but it was all voluntary. Like the people that were wearing masks, like there was no.
There's definitely more people in Sarasota wearing masks, but in Fort
Yeah.
Myers, where we have family living, and they're like, there's like no one wears masks.
We
in there.
typically stay away from people. So we're fine.
Yeah.
There doesn't even,
Yeah.
When we were at the Jersey Shore this summer, there were people in the ocean swimming with masks on, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh,
I-
it's ridiculous.
I don't think that's gonna work.
No, that's not how.
Good
that
luck
works.
with
We've
that.
seen that too
Yes.
on vacation.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
So Ryan has been getting asked that question a lot lately by several different people. His piano instructor asked him tonight, and his answer for his favorite Christmas tradition is making Jesus a birthday cake, and that's what he's been telling everybody, and it just warmed my heart. I was so excited.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that's
And then
so
they always
sweet.
ask him, well, what kind of cake do you make? And
very
but
cool.
that's his
That's cool.
favorite. So that's
So he
good
plays
to know.
piano.
Yes, he just started.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, he's
I am up for the
loving
worship
it.
team.
He's had, well, today was his second full lesson.
Okay.
But after his first lesson, he wrote a song with lyrics and wrote out all the
Wow.
notes and everything.
Oh my gosh.
He is just loving it.
I think we hit on something.
Yeah.
I think we
He's-
did.
He played
Now-
for his instructor tonight.
Now, was that like he asked for, or was that like, hey, we think this would be a good idea? Why don't you try it? Was that
We saw it
how
on
did that come about?
Facebook.
Well, and I like to involve him in different things just to kind of get a sampling,
Sure.
do it for a little while, see if you like it kind
Yeah.
of thing. And it just so happened that some ads came up for someone on Buy Sell Trade, or not Buy Sell Trade, Boardman Talks,
Yeah,
I
or
think it was.
something, yeah.
Somebody was doing piano lessons. I was like, here's a sampling.
Yeah, so you want to try it? And he said, sure. The
Yep.
first lesson's free just to see if they like it. And he took his first
Did you guys play
lesson,
instruments? 'Cause
Nothing
Continue.
whatsoever.
I play the iPod.
And do you know how outdated you sound when you say that? You say that all the time, and there's no such thing.
I'm
as
getting
an iPod
old, and she
anymore.
keeps making fun of me.
iPod.
So I made a joke at the last wedding I did. So I
Full of 20-year-olds.
which I still think I am.
I'll
Okay?
say
you are not
Let's
then.
decide right now.
So I made a Monty Python joke,
yeah.
and no one in the room got it.
No one left.
I was like, what did you bring to express your love to the bride, or whatever the line is? And I was like, a ring, and nobody got it. And I was like, okay.
And I'm sitting in the back going,
And then I tried to make it a second time, like maybe they didn't hear me. I didn't laugh the second time either. And Sam's going, "You're the oldest person on the platform." Just
I
quiet
literally
down.
yelled. I was sitting in the back of the church with Jen, and I heard the joke, and no one laughed. And I was oh, none of them get it. They don't get it. Like I get it because he says it. I'm honestly actually never seen the Monty Python. I don't think.
So you didn't get the reference either?
No, I knew it because I've heard him say it before. Like I don't get it from the movie, but I know it's a funny joke from the movie. And so he said it, and I was like, oh, no one laughed. They don't
You
get
should
it.
have stood up, screamed, said, "Oh, that's a funny Monty Python," and everybody
No,
got it. Right?
but then he said it again, and I said, "Hun, you're too old. They don't get it."
There you go. Yes.
That's what I said from the
To
back.
She didn't heckle them. She
No.
heckled me. So,
So iPod. Let's take a new version of it. So do you even have an iPod?
No.
You listen to music on your
iPhone.
phone. So you have an iPhone.
You play music
the
on the
iPhone.
iPhone.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Apple Music. Just say I play Apple Music.
Yeah, that's all I do.
That's all you do. That's all we
Yeah.
do.
I played in the chime squire where they held up the colors and you ding, ding. And that was about all.
Well,
I
here
did.
in Ohio in schools, you have to join the
Instrument, of
choir or
course.
take an instrument after a certain grade, right? And in Jersey, they didn't do that. You didn't have to do that. That was like an elective or whatever. You got to do it if you're interested. And so I am not musically talented at all.
I did the chorus when I was in elementary school. I actually was the sea captain for Take Me on a Sea Cruise, fourth grade.
Hey now.
Third and fourth grade play. Ooey, ooey, baby, ooey.
There you go.
Yeah, there were hand motions. I had a solo. It was interesting. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
do.
still there.
I still have the moves. Moves
We're
like
hoping the
Jagger.
kids do, though.
Yeah. Well, Charlotte doesn't have Facebook, and she doesn't know how to watch this. So,
So
unless Aaron's watching this right now, while he's
yeah,
watching
right.
Kids, he's not
Let's
watching.
check. Aaron.
But my mom bought Charlotte a piano, and because she's been asking for a better part of a year, maybe a
Yeah.
little longer,
She wants to learn how
and
to
then she
play.
wants to learn how to play. So my mom bought her the thing, and then we're gonna figure out piano lessons. So maybe
Sweet.
we'll have to ask
Yeah,
you for your
right.
piano person.
And then I think Abraham will.
Yeah, he
This
dances.
man
He loves
dances
music.
and sings to every song, whether he knows the lyrics or not. And anything that he can pick up is a guitar. And he pretends to play the guitar. So I'm like, at some point, guitar lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 3.
So Ryan does piano. Did you guys play instruments?
I played a ton of different stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
What would you
I played
play?
nothing.
Nothing.
No, because I went to private school and they didn't have any of that.
Okay. So I played piano. That was the first instrument that I would have. It was forced on me. I wasn't real, whatever. I went to the piano lessons and got through it. Played saxophone, played harmonica. What else?
Like I can blow on the harmonica, but like you know what you're doing. Like getting
Did
those
at the time. I couldn't do it right now. No. And then I really liked the violin, and it was too expensive, and so I never got to do that. So that's on my bucket list. And then guitar, I'd really like to play, but I suck at it. We do have a guitar.
That's the
What,
first
what
step.
kind of guitar?
What is it? A Seagull? Yeah, Seagull.
Okay. How you guys during COVID, obviously things have changed. Your job changed quite a bit, and you went through a season where we didn't know if we were going to be open, closed, everything in between, and now people are talking closing again, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think, what's your feelings on it in general, and how are you continuing to navigate? Obviously, being an educator, it's a little different. In that arena, we've seen kids fall behind. We've seen kids really like the at-home learning. I know it's several that I've heard like this has been a godsend, like been so great for them, particularly middle school, high school. They're a little older. But how do you feel from education business standpoint? How has COVID affected those things? And obviously your family has gone on Gus the Bus. And so it's affected your family too. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, so I'm teaching in person, and I would like to continue teaching in person. I know our son Ryan loves being at school. He wants to stay in person, and his fear is that where he's going to have to go back to remote. He doesn't want anything to do with that. Remote was okay, but I still think it's better to be in person.
Yeah.
Hope you don't mind a flippant answer, but 100 acres, right? We go away from civilization. We create like a civilization of our own, and we keep separated from the rest of mankind. How about that?
We can buy a town.
The village, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
The village
I was
is such a
hinting at.
great idea.
Let's totally
We
do
gotta
it.
do it.
You guys up for it? I mean, we need a
compound.
preacher.
Yeah.
The compound. Her mom in Fort Myers, they were at a church for a while, and there was a family that bought a compound, however many
bought
acres.
land, yeah.
They bought land, and I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 houses they built on it, and they had all their stuff and solar power and everything else. And like they went over for, I think it was financial peace they were doing, and they went over for like a celebration or something like that at their thing, and they were like, "This is a compound. Like, this is like you could shut off from the world and be just
And be
okay."
totally fine.
Yep.
We're totally in.
Vision board.
Yeah.
Vision board for compound.
Retirement plan. Got to be near water though.
Yes. An ocean is necessary.
Necessary.
And lots of sun. I'm really partial to the sun.
Lots of sun. Lots of sun. I hate that.
Youngstown is not the place to go
No,
for
it
sun.
is not.
No.
We moved here, and then he told me that Youngstown is like second in rain behind Seattle, and I was like, "What have you done to me?"
Well, we moved here in October of 13,
13.
and that year, like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, we got pummeled
Got
like
dumped on with
with
snow.
snow. And she was like, "Did we just move to Siberia?
Yeah.
You know, we've never gotten snow this early." And then it snowed. I don't know, it was like 72
There's just
straight
always
days with
snow
on the
here.
ground.
Always. There's always snow on the
Gotta get
ground.
snow tonight
It's
and
very
tomorrow.
rainy and cloudy. I heard, isn't it true that the reason we have the base here is because of all the cloud coverage?
Yeah, we have an
that our area
arsenal,
gets?
I think it's an Air Force or Army. They keep their munitions up there, and they actually picked this area because if the bombers were to come out and take it over, it's cloud cover and it would protect it. So, welcome to Northeast Ohio.
That makes
Yeah.
me feel so great right now.
So Ryan's headed into what grade next year?
Sixth.
6th. That is a 6th, 7th, 8th. That's a fun. Yeah.
This is my territory. I'm ready for this version.
I'll be praying for you.
I can
You know.
follow you.
Yeah, Debbie was like, "Take it away."
It's like it's always a combination though. Like when we were youth pastors and we dealt with junior high boys, it was always like the ones that were like, "All right, we need to teach you how to use deodorant,"
Yeah.
and then other ones that you were like, "All right, we just need to teach you how to be like civilized."
Yeah.
and you had those tensions. Like some were just kind of figuring it out. They didn't realize certain things, a little awkward, at certain times. And then other kids, you were just like, "Wow, like where's the duct tape and the Benadryl? Like what in the world? Like what did your parents feed you?" And because you got all the hormones going and everything else, and then by the time they get to high school and they start leveling out a little bit, and then college, do you have any hopes or aspirations? Does Ryan have to go to college? What are you kind of hoping as mom and dad?
Well, he doesn't have to go to college.
He has to do something.
I mean, he asked that.
Can't stay in the
yeah,
basement.
No,
Gotta go.
no basement.
He does ask us that, and we always say, well, it just depends on what you want to be. So what I wanted to be, I had to go to college. What Dad wanted to do, he did not have to go to college. So
Yeah.
it just depends on what he wants to be. But no requirements, no pressure.
That's good.
And I don't think we'll have trouble as he gets to those awkward, weird stages. I mean, our conversations are like time travel and physics and whatever. So he might be solving a world problem by the time that we get to that weird stage.
He's a really good kid,
Yeah, he
too.
is.
Yeah.
He teaches us a
Yeah.
lot.
So what do you
That's
think?
good.
Aspirations for the kids? What do you hope they do? I know ours are a little bit younger. Shar and Ryan are the same age, but the rest of them are under that. What are
Yeah.
you thinking?
I mean, Charlotte already has in her mind. She's like, "I'm going to be a zoologist and travel the world."
Yeah, she
I'm
told,
like-
she told us, she's like, "I'm not getting married. That's just going to hinder what I need to do."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Dang.
I don't know what
I
we were
was
talking
like,
about.
"Sweetie, don't
she
you
didn't.
wanna have
She didn't
kids?"
say it like that, but
Yeah.
I was like, I think Graham was asking us a question about getting married. He came home from school the second day of school, and some girl was like, "I want to kiss you and marry you," and Graham was like, "No," and like, "This is weird."
Yeah, she said, "I want to kiss you. I want to marry you." And he's like, "Why?" She was like, "So I can kiss you."
And he was like, "No." And so he came home and it was like, I was like, "Okay, well, we're gonna save that for later. You're in first grade, buddy. So you'll
I'm
get
not
married.
having that
You'll
talk
get
yet."
married one day." And then Charlotte was all like, "Well, I'm not gonna get married." And I was like, "Well, don't you want to like be with someone and travel with someone and like find animals and things with someone?" And she was like, "Nope." And I was like, "All right, girl, let's."
Girl knows what she wants.
It's a little disappointing because I have her on the list of potential daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta arrange that. We'll
We
work
can
that.
totally arrange that. Does Brian like animals and travel? 'Cause that's what she likes right
She
now.
wants to travel a ton.
She wants to travel
Yeah.
and just
I've saw movies about this arranged marriage. It never works out. I don't think this should be part of the strategy.
This is a wild story. So we had a group of students at the last church we were at, and their parents were Indian. and they were an arranged marriage. They never saw each other. They just had a picture and showed up on their wedding day, got married, have this beautiful relationship, beautiful children, wonderful family. We had got to have dinner at their house, authentic Indian food, like use your hands, naan, the whole deal. It was wonderful. But their kids were so awesome. I'll never forget the mom was like, so how do we do dating with them?
Because they didn't date.
They didn't date. And so here their kids are starting to come up into their teenage years, and mom and dad are trying to figure out, like, I don't know what to, like, we never did.
literally
Like, I
have
have
no
no
concept of
context,
anything.
no
No
none of
context.
that. And so it was an interesting, kind of dialogue and conversation through that. What boundaries do you set? How do we do that?
Yeah.
They showed up on their wedding day, and then that was
Ta-da!
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That
think
was
of the
their first date.
complication was eliminated from that whole process. That seems the most direct path.
Yeah.
Maybe if the Facebook algorithm could pick these things out.
But who
and
knows you
like
better
this.
than your parents? I mean,
True.
that was the idea for millennia.
Right.
So I think for the kids, my parents were really great. They were just like, as long as you're following the Lord, we don't care what you're doing. Like,
Well, it's the questions we ask them every night. Every night before bed, we ask our kids, "Who loves you?" Jesus, and then they like to list off a ton of other people that love them. What are you going to do? Follow Jesus wherever he takes me, and what's that? My mission. So
yeah.
As long
Ultimately,
as
they're
they're
doing
following
that,
him.
like, I'm in.
yeah, I mean, we have like Graham loves sports, and he is talking about he wants to
keeps saying
play
he's gonna
football
play
and
football.
basketball
Yeah.
and baseball and every sport under the sun. Benny, I don't really know right now. He's kind of he's
He
into
wants to
drawing.
marry you.
Yeah, he's
He's
obsessed with me right
infatuated
now. Oh
with
my gosh,
mom
he
right
loves
now.
mom. He keeps telling Doug every
He goes,
day.
we have
Doug-
to go buy mommy a gift. You have to take me. I'm
He
buying
keeps
mommy
telling me,
a present
"Mommy,
for
I'm going to buy
Christmas."
you 2 presents for Christmas." I'm like, "Oh, with my money, perfect time." Okay, my money, his money, he makes the money, and I'm like, "Okay." But then he wants to tell me what it is. I'm like, "Don't. It's a secret. It's Christmas. Let it be a surprise. You got to tell Daddy." And he literally goes, "Okay, it's a secret." like he's holding it in, and he goes, "Mommy, I'm gonna get you 2 presents, but I can't tell you what they are." And I'm like, "All right, that's so great."
And Abraham's just a party on.
Well, I
steroids
mean,
right
Benny's is like very detailed. He likes instructions. He's
Yeah.
good with Legos. He's getting into drawing right now. So for him, like stuff's like just starting to come out. And then Abraham's
I
just a
could
party
see-
on 2 legs. We have no idea what that means.
I can see Benny's building stuff. Like, he's
Yeah.
very methodical, and
He takes his time thinking
And he-
he's an observer.
he doesn't want help, and he tries to put stuff together. But I think it's so fun to watch them blossom. I'm sure there are things you thought about Ryan 5 years ago that
Yeah.
you don't think about him today.
Right.
That he's either grown out of
Sure.
or grown into.
Mhm.
But right now it's just a fun season. Well, we could keep going, but we're right at the end of the show. Did you have fun?
I did.
Was it
You guys are the
was
best
it as
guests
painful
ever.
as you
See,
thought?
I'm always nervous, but then once you sing, get going, it's fine.
Yeah, we're just talking.
I'm fine.
We grabbed
When you
the
forget the camera.
the wheel. We're
Fine.
good. We steer for you.
It's
Our
fine.
ladies were a little nervous today. We were being a little wild beforehand, Joe and I. So
They didn't trust us.
they
I
didn't
mean,
trust us.
are you surprised, really?
No.
No.
We love you guys, and we will see you back here for the last episode of the Joe and Doug Show in 2020
Dang.
next Tuesday, and then next time we will see you will be in 2021. So we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. If you like our programming, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page, or subscribe to your favorite podcast platform like iTunes or Spotify. This is original Youngstown content, and we would appreciate you sharing the video